Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This continues our 2 month series of Last Fleet, a very good game from Black Armada. Last Fleet was written as a Battlestar Galactica with the serial numbers filed off Battlestar BSG, the more recent series, not the 80s version with all of the ideas of a singular fleet, the last of humanity fleeing an oppressive force of aliens that can appear as those people. Well, I have hacked it, as I am wont to do for Star Wars. And so this is called Last Imperial Fleet. And the idea behind it is that when Palpy, that is, Palpatine, the Emperor, and Death Star 2, as it's called in Wikipedia, because it's not actually named in the movies, both those blew up. And this fleet of folks who were on Coruscant, the capital world of the Empire, said, bump that. We are not going to fall to the New Republic. Let's go off, away from this. Let us flee for our existence and keep the Empire alive upon this solitary fleet. And so the fleet consists of a Secutor class Star Destroyer, a Gazanti class cruiser, and a number of other less militaristic, more civilian ships that have latched on. And the fleet has been traveling out from the core worlds towards, if you looked at the way that the Star Wars galaxy map is often drawn, towards the galactic west. And there was a mention to at least one of the PCs, if I recall correctly, in the last session, that the group was coming closer to a particular, as Rich frantically tries to pull up the thing to make sure he doesn't say the name wrong, the Kurnocht cluster is what the group has been coming closer and closer to. And yeah, that's a thing. Now, in last session, a lot of you met with the Hutt cartel, who had sent a dreadnought to meet with someone else in the fleet, and you negotiated for some fuel. You got a lot of it. Part of that agreement was that your crew, or the fleet, would lead the Hutt cartel towards an Ithorian planet. And that was set up by Marwan Ganson, who's not here to reap the benefits of that. So Sawyer's unable to join us. Hopefully they'll be able to join later, but if not, that's a-okay. And so that was where we had ended. It was, there was a disagreement. A Thorian planet, Hutt cartel can grow past their Hutt space area. This was a dreadnought under the control of Sigisk Edda. She is an aggressive and young Hutt, excited about the opportunity. So that was the general of what happened, and we ended on this, not cliffhanger, but like tag scene at the end, where recruit Gloria Gillis, who had been ordered by Marwan to assassinate a particular ISB leader, the Compnor ISB officer in charge, Lieutenant Commander Grath Bolt, and evidence was supposedly left by Glory, or supposed to be left by Glory, pointing towards Commander Obok Vandar II, a Rekindler and leader of the Imperial Research Bureau. So, any events of note in last week that I've missed that folks like want to make sure and highlight, like in a last time on, this thing also happened?
Tagashia also ran into her old handler, Sorn, and it was revealed that Tagashia had essentially sent along Mina, the rebel spy who Jaina had released, that there was a deal struck there. that
The
Jaina
Underground
made.
Railroad. That's right. That's right.
Exactly. And that there is some conflict between Frit, right? Isn't Frit the name of? Yeah, Frit Tetsu and Sorn over possession of Togashiya as an asset, which is exciting.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that as a reminder. I very much appreciate that. All right. And it's as folks are quiet, then I think that we've got everything covered. Good deal. Now, last reminder before we introduce characters again, just a brief introduction. The wishes from last session. Concerns about how to trigger playbook moves. I've taken a look at everybody's moves in preparation for this, but let's all try to work together towards that. Combat, there were like 3 people who mentioned combat. Things to hit, which I'm taking means combat. And let's see. Nope. Everyone said combat. And combat hitting playbook moves and a scene between Jaina and Rev. Cool. So with all of those in mind, let's quickly go around and remind each other of our characters. I'm just going to go based off the Zoom window, which means I'm calling Greg first. If you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Sure. I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Togashiya, who uses she, her pronouns. Togashiya is a Chiss assassin. She has no official rank within the fleet, so she is a recruit, although she's been doing the Empire's dirty work for quite a long time. Sort of over the last few sessions, it's been established that Togashiya is sort of a very morally flexible when it comes to the Galactic Civil War. It's not entirely clear what she's particularly doing to enrich herself by doing this, but it's very clear that she despises cloning and doesn't like the Force-sensitive people. So she's, very hesitant about Marwyn, who's not here, and is often maneuvering the other characters towards her own ends. I'm trying to think if there's anything particular.
Do you have a move you absolutely want to trigger?
Yes. Right. So thread the needle is the one move that I've taken that I have not hit, which is just a feat of skill that would otherwise be impossible. I just felt it was cool, and it's plus raw, which I also took as a +2 now. So I'm like halfway decent at it. So looking forward to doing something impossible this session, and then probably rolling a 3 anyways. But
Actually, if you've got a +2, you may roll a 4. Awesome. Next up is Jex.
Hi, I'm Jex. I use they, them pronouns, and I am playing Jaina Madar, who uses she or they pronouns. Jaina is the Scorpio playbook, which is sort of like the sleeper agent, Gaius Baltar, if you're familiar with the BSG series. And it is unclear how much they're aware of their sleeper agent stuff, but last session kind of implied that she is not aware of much of any of it. So we'll see kind of where things go.
Yeah, and what is one move for Jaina that you are really eager to trigger?
I feel like I've kind of triggered most of my playbook moves already, but I guess manipulative as I was fun. Getting to roll smooth instead of warm whenever I reach out by playing on someone's emotions or sympathies.
Cool. Last week I thought we discussed close ranks was a move.
Oh yeah, we did. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember because I thought I was gonna trigger it and then I didn't. So I looked at it and thought, okay, we should do something to actually trigger it. Yeah, that's
cool.
right.
Cool. But both those are very, very interesting. Hopefully, we'll have opportunities for them. And last but certainly not least is Steven.
Today I'm playing Lieutenant Latakana, whose call sign is Revenge, or Rev for short. She uses she, her pronouns. Rev is from the moon of Endor. and was raised there. Whenever her parents kind of crash landed, they formed their own village and all of that kind of stuff, and with other people. And whenever the Imperials came, they were like a source of income and off-world supplies. And she made part of the family's living by teaching them how to fly fast among the trees, which she'd been doing, the whole time she was growing up. And so she became a big pilot. And while she was off planet, the rebel scum terrorists destroyed the Imperial base there on Endor and the Death Star surrounding it, and decimated her village. And now she's filled with hate for those rebel scum terrorists.
Dang those rebel scum. So let's double check to see, are there any start of session moves that need to be triggered? I know that start of session, if you aren't currently in the middle of dealing with the fallout from your last sleeper agent move, is what's written for Jaina. So I think maybe we should trigger that move.
I think so too. Okay, so I'm going to roll plus sharp, which is a 0, so nice flat roll here. And
Oh
that is
my.
a 5.
It's a
Perfect
cardinal
way
move.
to start things out.
On a 6 or less, you don't get any of the choices to discover warning signs, leaving telltale evidence, or widespread consequences. In addition, you get an additional advanced option. Oh, that's the thing. So go ahead and mark an XP because that is a cardinal move. Congratulations. And yeah, I think that you have no warning signs, so you're not sure that you don't know that you've done this thing that's a hard move that I have on a shelf over here. That's great. So good. We start off. The first thing that we hear is, and I'm totally biting off of some of the BSG isms, is we hear the thundering like taiko drums. It was like a heavy part of the musical score for BSG. It was a very like action is happening now, and occasionally it was the sonorous reflective moments, but this is the action happening now, heavy percussion that comes. And then the next sound cue we hear is the sound of someone like brushing against leaves. And when the shaky cam, I'm not going to do too much shaky cam because even thinking about shaky cam, which was a huge BSG thing, makes me feel motion sickness, but I'll think about it for a moment. So we have a bit of shaky cam. Thank you. Greg's got it. Whoa. So we have a bit of shaky cam, and the cam is picking up. We see some stormtroopers moving through the forest through an actual forest. And then we hear a couple of comm chatter back between the two of them. That is followed by the sound of heavy machine gun fire, like blaster rifle, assault rifle fire.
You suddenly cut audio there, Rich. Is my audio sounding any better?
Yes, it is. Is my audio
that's
back?
good. Your audio is back. Okay. We cut out
Cool.
a machine gun fire, which is light repeaters.
Yeah, light repeaters. Sorry, thank you. I was correcting myself, but I hadn't yet. But thank you. So yeah, you hear blaster fire, and these stormtroopers drop. And then there's a small explosion. And a few more are thrown, and we hear a bit of the Wilhelm scream because I just want to stick it in. I'm doing all the sound cues today. And then the camera kind of swings around, and from the smoke, we see a pair of huge hammerhead aliens, the Ithorians. One of them has one of those heavy repeating blasters, and the camera pulls back as it's looking at the two of them looming over, and you see the night sky above. But you see these like lattice work beams or something, as if they're in some kind of dome. We quickly cut again to Lieutenant Lada Rev, Tagashia, Glory, and some of your squad, and Jaina Madar walking through a jungle, the same jungle. There's a small creek ahead of you. The foliage here is so lush. Damn, someone is quick on the draw. It's brilliant. Sorry, there's a text thing, so anyone listening or watching, there's a thing where Greg is very smart and is already like brain intuited with the thing that's going on, which is awesome, and it makes me excited. So Rev, you have some kind of obvious injury, not debilitating anyway, more cosmetic, like someone's been in the shit is what we gather from when we see Lada Rev at this moment. What's the cosmetic injury that we see on Lieutenant Rev?
Yeah, I think what we actually see is she has her helmet off, and I think she's got it slung over her back, so it's kind of bobbing around a little bit. And there's a cut that's bleeding on her face. So it's kind of been patched up with that like temporary tape or maybe some glue, and it's kind of puckered a little bit. But we see a little bit of drop, whereas she's gone through this jungle and it's been active. It's kind of split apart a little bit, and it's starting to bleed just a little bit.
Nice. And then Jaina, we can tell that the pressure is heavy on you. Like you and Rev both have the same amount of pressure, but Rev has the stem to the eyeball sting. So what is it that the camera picks up for the pressure of what weapon does Jaina have out?
Yeah, I'm holding like a blaster rifle, kind of that marching sort of can turn, and I don't know, there's probably a name for that pose. And I think we just see my hands are just shaking slightly. It'd be almost imperceptible if the camera didn't linger on it for a moment.
Nice. And then last but not least, Tagashi, something's kind of twitchy about one of your limbs. Which one is a little twitchy? Like, what do we see?
Yeah, it's like her I think both of her legs, right? I did both. Yeah. The like her right leg, it does this like intermittent like the collapsing force field thing. There's like this like orange arc goes through it for a second, and it just kind of gives her a bit of a limp for a second, and then it reforms, and then she goes back to like adjusting some small bit of it, or trying to like usher away some maybe there's a mouse droid that's trying to be helpful, and eyeing it suspiciously as it tries to fix her leg.
Oh my, mouse droid's trying to be helpful. Yeah, that's not a problem. Sweet. And we see Glory, who's behind you when that thing happens, and you pause and a limp, and there's a look of concern, like, oh, that's a problem that registers. And as a lot of you will say that there's like 5 others with the 3 of you, total of 8, as you're moving through the jungle right now. And one of them starts to step across the small creek, like they step into the creek. And that's when whatever it was, some bomb goes off. Like there was a landmine in the creek and it explodes. And yeah, I see someone wants to make a move at squadron leader. So we'll have you make that move at the moment that happens. Like this person is red shirted, done, and things are about to go crazy.
How many people did you say that you thought there were?
I think there were 8, now 7.
Okay, 7. And so I have a move which is squadron leader that says when you lead a mission, roll sharp. And my sharp is 0. And get hold and spin your hold to give someone orders and give them +1 forward. So let's see what that looks like.
Awesome.
Got an 8.
Ooh.
Which is how many hold? 1?
Hold 1.
Yeah. So I can give someone a + forward whenever I give them an order.
Sweet. So that explosion goes off, and then we immediately see the green laser bolts or blaster bolts from someone that set up an ambush on you guys. But Rev, you had a moment where you saw it, but you're giving an order. By the way, also among your little squad, because they're not all red shirts, is Ensign Livia T'Pol, who wants to impress you, Rev, because you impressed her so much with the lifting of stuff. Cool. So fight has broken out. You guys are being fired upon from an ambush position on the other side of the creek. And you see standing up among them, your attackers is, oh, dang it. I had the picture. Give me just a moment, and because I really like this picture. And so I will show it to you in just a moment. Among them are not Ithorians, or at least the one that you see is not an Ithorian. It is instead this individual, a battle-hardened assassin droid. So I'll look to Tagashia as Rev, maybe you're giving orders to the rest of the crew here, your little squad. What is Tagashia doing?
If Tagashia sees an assassin droid, probably, and like Glory was right behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tagashia like turns to Glory and is like, we need to fall back. We need to fall back. And starts giving like covering fire to people. Like we're like, this is not a battle we can win. So yeah, she's like shooting wildly into the brush near the assassin droid, not trying to like necessarily do a whole lot of damage, but give covering fire to a moving retreat.
Nice. So if you're looking to move into a retreat, then it doesn't sound like you're actively engaging in battle. So you're trying to shake off this threat, right? Does that feel right?
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and have you do that. Roll plus
so much better at engaging.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? But it's okay.
Well, okay. So just because what I was thinking was the
you can amend and
right,
engage in battle
to keep a target safe during the battle.
Okay.
Most likely Glory.
Awesome, man. She is so thankful.
Let's see. Right, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
So yeah, I may reframe it that like maybe the fire starts coming our way, right? And I push her behind a rock and tell her to stay down. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, +2. Nice on 11.
11. That is damn nice. So on a hit, engage in battle, you get to choose, and you have another choice on 7 to 9, but you're okay. So you just get to choose. Hold off determined assault, keep a target safe during battle, overcome a tough target's defenses.
The way I framed it, I'm going to keep the target safe. So I make it very clear to the these rebel forces that because even if they're not necessarily rebels, they're rebels to us. The rebel forces that like this is not the the way forward. This is not the avenue to advance through. And it's just I put my blaster up on the rocks. And
Nice. Cool. And I'm imagining that like other than the IG-88 assassin droid, the rest are all kind of hunkered behind this moss covered log, right? And that's where they've set up their little ambush for you guys. Jaina, this ambush blows up. Rev is giving some orders. We have the moment where there's just a little bit of shaky cam with some like dirt thrown a little bit, and then that high pitched like hee, which is of course the audio cue for someone feeling battlefield stress. What is it that Jaina does?
Fictionally in my head, it sort of makes sense to me that I'm just kind of frozen, which could be a wait helplessly for whatever someone does next, I think.
Okay, so you're there to kind of support.
Yeah, I mean, I think, basically kind of frozen in fear for a moment. I mean, even though she's been trained in this, she's done battle before, but
She's
something
seen some
feels
poodoo.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, something feels different. And yeah, I think she will kind of kick into action once she needs to, when someone else kind of forces her to do so. But yeah, I think for now, kind of waiting helplessly. I know not the most exciting option. Actually, I can't. I don't have 2 pressure to mark. Never mind.
Ooh.
So, oh boy. I don't I mean, I think then in that case, like, we get that shot of like her kind of standing there for a moment, rifle still at low ready, and then just kind of like snaps out of it and turns and just I think, also sort of tries to put out some suppressing fire, but like not really with like, not strategically, like just kind of just doing it without thinking.
Okay.
So I don't know that she even has like a goal per se.
Woof.
You know,
I think regardless of her confusion, she is also like, at this point, that feels more like you're engaging to shake off a threat, right?
okay.
You're confusedly trying to use
Yeah,
your
yeah.
hardness. So let's have you do that.
Okay. My heart is 0. Well, like
Yeah, it's
most
flat.
things.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you have is flat except for smooth and raw.
Oh, that's a 6.
Nice.
But this one I can raise to a 7,
you
right?
could.
I'll be at a breaking point, but cool. So I raise that to a 7.
Nice.
And
the GM chooses. It's out of the frying pan into the fire. You don't escape unscathed. You lose or use up something in the process. The threat intensifies, escalates, or targets someone else. Oh, that sounds fun. Okay. She was just firing, right? Jaina was not looking to take cover. She's just firing at this point.
Yeah.
Awesome. You fire a few times. You actually hit the IG-88 droid in its shoulder, and you see a few sparks pack up, and the thing kind of moves back as more blaster bolts are fired upon you. Then you see this little spherical thing flying through the air, and a little thermal detonator bounces and starts to roll towards you, Jaina. You're out of the frying pan and into the fire. We're going to cut away from you to Rev with the rest of your little squad. By the way, because it has to have a little blinking red light, right? That's just has to be done. Rev, what are you doing with the squad that's definitely paying attention to you?
So I think that I'm going to I see the danger that we're in. I think right before this explosion starts, that starts all of this action, we're walking along. I put up my hand real quick, and the military sign of hold. The one soldier trips the explosion. Boom! It goes off, and then everything just goes all the heck. And I think I look around. I see that Tagashia has laid down covering fire and is in a protected stance. And I direct my so this is the image that I have in my head. I direct my squad to draw the fire from the rest of them from the attacking people away from Tagashia, and I want to encourage Tagashia to I want to tell Tagashia, flank them and see if you can take them out. So this is this is probably my squadron leader spinning my hold to give them a plus forward. It could be engage in battle. It could also be call someone on their shit.
Interesting.
Right? Which is basically, don't hunker down here and don't get out. Go fucking kill them. Go cark and kill them.
I like to call someone on their shit.
I like that. That's great. That is a very rev move in the middle
Hard.
of battle.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let me roll that.
Oh, your heart is 0. Man, this game.
I got a 3.
Wow. Wow. So there is nothing on a miss condition. It's just GM makes a move. And yeah, I think what happens is you call Tagashia out,
Mhm.
but the IG-88 is dealing with Jaina. But I think that a few of the others who have the ambush have seen like, oh, that person's in command, target that person. And I think that you're going to get shot. I need you to weather serious harm right now.
And that's hard. So let me roll 2d6. That's a 6.
Okay.
Is that,
This is not a cardinal.
do I want to roll high?
You do. On a 6 or less, you feel the full force of it. You're out of control, lost, trapped, or helpless, and the GM may start a doom clock.
Okay, so I will spend a pressure then to make that a 7.
Okay.
And then you choose 2.
I do. And I may pick the same one twice. So I think I'm going to go with you're injured. So we now move past cosmetic injury to you are injured. And I'm going to say that you get shot in the shoulder. It's a blaster bolt. So it's going to make firing a full-on blaster rifle very challenging.
Mhm.
And then I think you're going to lose something important. I think what happens is that while Tagashi has found the rocks, the rest of the squad were trying to also take, they were trying to take some measure of cover, and the thermal detonator goes off during that furious attack that splits a couple of the trees. It's more like a shock thing than a full-on, like it's not going to start a fire. This thermal detonator is evidently a pressure grenade. Oh, that's okay. Greg has a thing to take care of that I'd already told us about. No problem whatsoever. Dagashia is knocked to the ground, and we don't know if Dagashia is out or is just out until
We
Greg
see that
returns.
split tree kind of come down and we can't
Yes.
see what happened to him. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. Cool. So things are looking bad. Jaina, you are knocked down from this blast. Wait, you're already back? Okay. No, is that yes or like was the delivery made or
They're making it right now, but we're good.
you're good? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. If that changes, you need to go, just go. Open doors, no problem. I didn't mention safety tools, but we're using them. You should too. Everyone should use safety tools because that's how we have a safer game together. Back to our action as a thermal detonator explodes. So yeah, I think it's weather serious harm for Jaina. I just feels like is the right move here. So let's have you go ahead and roll plus hard.
Forgot to unmute. 8.
Okay, good. On a 7 to 9, it hits you hard. I choose 2. Now, I cannot make you mark pressure. So then I think I'm going to use injury and something important. So what injury do you think sounds most interesting for Jaina Madar here?
I would love to be gut shot.
Awesome. That is exactly what happens. That sounds great to me. Sweet. So the thermal detonator, which is some kind of, like, I'm imagining it's a small, if you've seen the prequels, the thing, the Jango Fett charges like a small version of that, and it knocks down a few of the trees. When the trees falls down, and you are hit in the gut, Jaina, and you lose something. I think you lose your gun. Like your blaster is lost. A tree falls on top of the blaster you have, so you're weaponless. You're hurting, and it looks bad. There's a moment of quiet as the blaster fire stops after this grenade goes off. Dagashia, you have because you took cover behind rocks, you've got cover right now. Rev, you took a hit in the shoulder. You're hurting. There's that again, that little audio cue, the little buzzing from the huge loud noise that just went off. But then you hear underneath that, and we see the subtitles, because it's a couple of Ithorians speaking animatedly to each other. And what the subtitles read, and it's, remember, Ithorians, they have that two throat thing. So it's this like deep bass, whoa, 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 whoa. And we hear a couple of them, and one is a little bit higher, maybe younger. And the subtitles that we see, and you determine if your character can understand Ithorian or not. I'm perfectly fine if you all do, because that just feels like Star Wars-y to me. It says, one says to the other, "What are you doing? We cannot harm Mother Jungle. We must repel the invaders. We must defend the ship. If this ship is destroyed, Mother Jungle is destroyed. But if Mother Jungle is destroyed, then the ship is worthless." And there's a bit of an argument back and forth between them. And in that piece, we hear a radio coming over for Lieutenant Rev and Jaina Madar. And let us see, who is it that's addressing you? I think it would be, I think it's going to be the CAG. Lieutenant Commander Teresa Carroll. Sorry, I had to cough. Lieutenant Rev, Lieutenant Commander Madar, have you successfully reached the engine room to disable that ship?
I think we see Jaina like struggling to like collect herself. She's not answering this call.
Oh, you muted,
Radio.
Stephen.
Oh,
there you go. No,
I'm
you're
here.
good now. You're good now.
I think Rev just turns on her radio, and starts to respond, but all we hear is like, for us it's really quiet, but over the radio we hear like moans and groans from people who've been shot, and falling trees, and we hear a lot of noise that we can't get through.
Nice. Okay, cool. Then you hear, calling over the quiet, you hear the robotic voice.
This is IG-86. You will surrender. Failure to comply will result in extermination.
I think Tagashia is thinking at this point that like the droid's focus, even though it's an IG unit, it's got 360-degree, but the droid's focus and like the Thorian's focus is on where the detonator just went off, where where they've been shooting, where Rev was, and she's gonna she turns to Glory, and not thinking, just because she's like in the zone, in Chiss tells her to stay down, and then is just gonna take like a giant flying leap off of the rock face where she is, and try and like get the IG unit. And this is like, it's like really far. It's like an impossible jump.
That sounds impossible to me.
Okay.
I don't think you can do it. Let's see if you can thread the needle.
Yep. Like literally threading the needles between the trees.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm kind of imagining like you like at one point are like foot plant off one tree and moving between the trees like all ninja style. It's crazy.
All right, here we go. That's a 9. And guess who has the pressure to spend, y'all? All right.
No.
So that is a 10 plus. Right, you only need to spend one.
Yes.
second. Yeah, so I pushed it. Okay.
You do it. You
Um,
give yourself or another character +1 forward to capitalize on it.
So who's closest to the droid at this point? Jaina or Rev?
I don't think you need to spend the pressure because Rev gave you a +1 with the order.
Ah,
If you don't
Save
want
the
to.
pressure.
I mean, I get to basically turn that +1 back to you. I'm okay with that. I like it.
So we'll
So
say
I will
the
not
red's
mark
closest.
pressure. Yeah. So yeah, Takashi like leaps through the trees. There's like, maybe I don't know. I don't watch Battlestar Galactica, so I don't know if this is the thing they would do, but like a little slow motionness to it. And
I approve.
gets the droid or like around the torso, and it's with enough force that it knocks the droid over. And she's just going to start like beating into this droid's head as quickly as she can with her functioning arm, and is just gonna like, now Rev, now.
Nice. So, Rev, what are you hoping to do here as a squadron leader?
So I think Rev scoops up Jaina's gun that she's dropped. And I imagine Jaina's gun, did you say it was a big blaster? Oh, in that case, she scoops up another dead soldier's gun because it's a she's looking for like a little pistol, right? Because she can't handle her. I think her right arm is just kind of dangling useless by her side, and grabs this little pistol and jumps up and starts trying to shoot the IG where Togashiya has knocked it down, right? And is screaming bloody murder and is just, in the thick of the battle.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that a lot. Is it okay if we edit just enough to say that the person who like hands you a pistol is Livia?
Oh yeah, I think let's say, is Livia the one that was being protected?
No, it was
That was
actually
Gloria.
Glory.
That was Gloria. Okay, yeah. No, I think that Livia's there and pulls it out of her like belt holster and hands it up.
Yeah,
Perfect.
cool. I love it. Sweet. So, you were going off, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So have you engaged in a bit of battle here?
Yeah, I was trying to look if I was showing off, and I don't think that applies here. I think it's engage in battle. If that makes more sense. And engage in battle is raw. I have a +1, but am I raw?
Damn, that is cool if we engage that move instead, though.
Yeah, I looked at that, and it's what does it do? It erases pressure and it erases attrition. It's like that doesn't make sense. Showing off makes sense, but the results
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
make sense in the
That's
middle
fair.
of a fight. I think it's more for a public show off kind of thing,
All
not a showing off with action.
Okay. Let's have you engage in battle then.
Okay. Ooh, that's an 11.
Oh, delightful.
What happens on an 11?
On an 11, it just means you make a choice and there is a bad choice result stuff.
So with an 11, you overcome a tough target's defenses. Is that enough to say we take out the IG?
Absolutely. Working together with Togashiya leading it with this crazy Ninja Scroll action and Rev charging up on it. You guys take out the IG-88 droid.
So I think the way this looks
86.
is Rev, Togashiya has knocked it to the ground, and Rev, with that useless arm, grabs the pistol from what was
Livia.
her name? Livia. I almost said Lydia. From Livia, and just jumps on top and just starts firing into the carapace and into the head, and it starts, jerking around. But at the end of this, I think as Togashiya's wrapped around it, holding it down, we see the orange lights kind of power down.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the Thorians is taken off. Like, this was too much. This was terrifying to them. They're like, so Jaina, you got shot in the gut. left behind, the squad is now getting up and charging forward. And you're by yourself in this middle of this jungle on a spaceship in space. What do you do?
So the rest of the group is kind of charging forward.
Mhm.
I want to indulge my worst instincts here and abandon duty, but I'm not completely sure what that looks like here. I think I sort of get up and I'm kind of limping along and clearly in a lot of pain. And is there something that I can like kind of like fall back to, like
Sure.
behind us? I think I'm trying to think exactly what this looks like. Sure, yeah, if you have one, yeah.
Would it be possible that you find information that the Ithorians have? So rather than helping take over the ship, you're more interested in grabbing that info for
Ooh,
use later?
yeah. Oh God, that's good. Yeah, I think
Nice.
yeah. Maybe there's like a dead soldier nearby. And I find like I think it's got to be some kind of like encryption, decryption kind of device or something.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
and yeah, I just grab it and kind of pocket it and start making my way back towards whatever like kind of base we had set up behind us, like the place we would have tried retreating to.
Nice. That
and
is so despicable.
If we can stay on me for just a moment too, I think there's
Yeah.
some sort of like computer or something there, and basically I'm plugging this thing in like a flash drive, and I think that's probably where it would cut.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a little data crystal, plugging it into a computer of some kind to uncover those secrets. And was that a engagement of one of your breaking points, or just a result of the?
No, that was a indulge is one of my breaking points.
Okay, cool. Good. So you cleared yourself back to two pressure. Good work. Tagashia and Rev, you just heroically led what remains of your squad to come in, take out these Ithorians. One Ithorian is slowly running away. It's an Ithorian. They don't run that fast. Like, I don't think they do like heroic Hulk leaps or anything. So it's just retreating from the field of battle. And you now have a clear way forward. What do you wish to do?
Tagashia will tell Glory to shoot the running Ithorian.
Oh, man.
She's got the high ground.
Oh, well, that's all she needs. Sweet. That is great. I am going to share a picture with you guys, and then I'm going to share it on our video screen because this is delightful. Okay, I like it. Damn it. That's all that matters, right?
Oh, that's very cool.
More matters, but this is the general look as we now pull back a little bit. You are here in Mother Jungle, and the repulsor lift engines are here. This is, maybe we'll say, so we have everything, like your characters know what the players know. Maybe one of you pulls up one of those little hollow devices and it shows this set of schematics. But the idea is to get to the hyperdrive engines before they make the jump to hyperspace. That's what your mission is. And you're currently on the lower level of the area. So
you're muted, Stephen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
No, you're not.
Okay.
It's very
Weird.
strange.
I was going to say, is this something that we're going to do in stages where we don't do a montage to get there? We're going to go through steps to get there.
I'm good with montage to get there.
Okay. I was just looking to see where you were looking for us to set things up.
It's a great question.
I would love, after telling Glory to shoot the running Ithorian, I think Tagashia
I think
looks
there's a
around.
hesitation, There's a hesitation, even though we know Gloria's did this assassination. Maybe this pressure's starting to get to her, and she hesitates. What is it that you say or do that pushes her?
What? Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's high pressure, right? Yeah.
She does it.
Man, is it to the point where I'm calling her on her shit? I don't know.
Oh, yes, I'd rather that. Please call her on.
Okay. Yeah. So she's like, I like, Glory, take the shot. And at point, and she like gets up and she's a little frazzled by the whole combat, and she's like fumbling with her gun. Shoot him! Shoot him! So rolling plus hard, which I think I'm terrible at. Yeah, I'm terrible at that. Okay. There we go. That's a 6. I can push it though. I can push it.
Yeah, you got the pressure to do it.
I got the pressure to do it. I'm pushing it.
Pressure. It's not a cardinal, so
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not cardinal. Thank you. I forget that.
Okay.
So on a 7 to 9, I think you get to choose from any of those options, right?
Yeah, I do. Let me take a look at them options. These lovely, lovely options. Okay, on a 7 to 9. Come on, move over. All right. On a hit, they choose from the options below. Act to prove you wrong by doing what you ask. Openly, forcefully refuse to do what you ask. Openly, unequivocally admit you're right.
Oh, so just to add this and to make the chances make a little more sense, Tagashi is calling her a coward. Right. That's her shit that I'm calling her on, is that she's a coward. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
I'm tired of saving your ass every time.
Oh man. And she breaks to that pressure. That's exactly the right thing to say. And she fires her blaster a few times. And the Ithorian falls. Is that what you wanted? Does that make you happy?
You doing your job makes me happy. And then it's gonna start looking around for Rev. And now there's no audio again. What is?
Can I hear me?
Oh, now you can hear. What are you doing?
It's like there's a delay.
It is like there's a delay.
Very strange. Yeah.
I'll try a different kind of mute rather than the one through Zoom. So I think Rev has been is backed up against one of the tree stumps that's been destroyed, and one of the other members of the squad is kind of putting her arm into a sling, a makeshift sling, and tying it down to her body so she can continue to move. And then she kind of hobbles up and walks over and is like, looks around to kind of try and get everyone to regroup. Sees Takashi and Gloria, Livia, looking for Jaina.
No Jaina. You're able to account for the rest of your squad, but there's no Jaina whatsoever.
Oh, and I think during this whole time the radio's been open back to the CAG, right?
Yeah.
And she hears the screaming, do it, you coward, shots, all that stuff. And then Lieutenant Rev reporting in. Serious injuries have been taken. Several casualties. We've repelled the enemy, and we are now headed to the hyperdrive engines. We'll report back with further details once we get there. And are we supposed to destroy the hyperdrive engines or just disable them?
That's a great question. I think disable might be a good way to go. I kind of like the idea of you guys potentially capturing a Ithorian herd ship. That
This
sounds
is for the
amazing.
huts, right?
No, that's a great question. So I'll kind of peel it back. These were the people trying to escape after the planetary bombardment.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah. Oh, then this can be our ship.
Exactly.
And it's important. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Madar. Where's Madar?
Oh,
I-
and so I love. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna cut to Madar because I think that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, where's
I
Madar?
think-
Yeah, that's
then,
perfect.
Then let
yeah.
me say something first, which is that grenade must have vaporized her. And then let's cut. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
Yeah, you're able to find that. Here's what you find, Jaina.
Oh, I don't even have to seek out.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Seek out. You might get a little bit more. I was going to give you like a tidbit, but
Mhm.
let's have you seek out. There's some information you're going to find for sure.
Okay. I think the first thing we see before Jaina starts trying to hack this into this thing is, I mean, I know like the way like Star Wars communicators look, this doesn't make as much sense as like a big like walkie type thing, but it's obvious that they're turning off the communicator so they can't hear this radio stuff anymore. And then yeah, let's seek out. I'm not looking for anything in particular, just sure that there's something important on this. So I'm going to roll plus sharp. All right, and didn't go. There we go. It's a 7.
All right, a 7 on seek out.
I think you rolled twice.
Oh, 7 and 8. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like I think the first one you didn't see
Oh,
it,
weird.
and you re-rolled, but they're both the
Yeah.
same thing, so it's no big.
Okay.
On a hit, you find it. On a 7 to 9, GM chooses 1. Ah. What you find? It's great because I was going to give this to you anyway, but now the rules demand it, so I'm not a total dick. It's the rules said so, right? That's what we'll go with. You, Jaina, you find communication between this ship and the home world, like not home world, but the planet that they left. There is a bunch of panicked information back and forth, and then there are assurances from the planet. We have an agent among them. She will lead you to safety. And then you see a picture of you.
Oh fuck. Jaina sort of staggers back and takes the drive out and puts it on the ground and starts just fucking stomping it.
I mean, that makes sense. That totally makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then kind of looks around like you do whenever like you suspect that maybe someone can somehow read your mind, that you just saw this information. I don't know, whatever it is. And as fast as she can with this injury, starts heading back towards the squadron.
Okay, so you went back to like the base that you guys had hastily erected as a come back here if you get lost in the juggle moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you found your information, stomped the information, and now you're coming back. That's great. That's great. That's great. Awesome. And the thing is, Jenny, you're by yourself for a while longer because you wanted it that way. This is so good.
Is it like is our like return base? Is it like a Lambda shuttle? Like the herd ships are huge to the point where it's like
a Rex
a boarding
Lambda shuttle.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Rex Lambda shuttle because that's now we discover that's where Rev got her cosmetic injuries from before.
Nice
If not
flying,
for if not for Rev flying it, that thing would have been done for. And maybe even that's a thing of because Rev, you got your shoulder patched up. Maybe they're like talking about that. The squad members that you just led to that victory, and one of them says, "Can you believe killed an IG-86? Well, that's Rev for you. If it hadn't been for her fancy flying, we wouldn't have even made it this far."
And I think that Rev turns and, kind of snaps at him a little bit, like, quiet, and then, form up.
Cool. And because they're definitely not red shirts, both Glory and Livia T'Pol have survived, but now you're down to, we'll say there's like 4, so now there's a total of 7 of you. Wait, do the math right. There's like 3. So there's one as yet unnamed NPC who is cannon fodder for whatever hard move I want that doesn't actually hurt you guys, and it's just like a light hard move. And then there are people we all care about in one way or another. Sweet. So we talked about doing the advance on the hyperdrive engines in a series of like light montage moments. What is something we see from the advance, like this squad, that shows Rev's competence as a squadron leader?
Yeah, I think what we see is an orderly entrance towards, we see the group come out of Mother Jungle in that little enclosure there, and there's the orderly advance where it's the crew is coming up, the squad is coming up, and they get behind cover, and they're kind of orderly, kind of coming in, checking all their hiding spots or potential places where people could come in. We see one of them punch in the button, opens the door into the hyperdrive area, and is looking around for who's going to replace Jaina as the person who can go in and take over the hyperdrive. Yeah.
Oh man.
Looking around is like, the red shirt, and points in there.
And he nods quickly, Kurt, knowing he would be reported and summarily executed if he refuses a direct order from his squadron leader. And he will head in and start trying to disable this. So Tagashia, what is it that kills this squad member as he tries to take care of the last bit of defenses?
Yeah, so Rev, she does the 2-finger silent go. And the red shirt, we should name the red shirt.
Oh, we got a bunch of names. Yeah, you're right.
He's about to die. They deserve a name.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Cyrus. So Cyrus, like,
let me go ahead and add him in the gone column. Sorry.
Yeah. So Cyrus does the head nod, and he goes down this corridor, and it's like a Thorian, so I imagine it's like very organic and kind of green. Corridor, and he's going towards the hyperdrive, and then you just see this giant a Thorian hand come out from the side and slam him up against the other edge, and lets out this roar, and then grabs him and throws him into this coaxium tunnel, and he just completely turns into blue sparks.
See the silhouette, the black silhouette of the blue spark in the middle of the blue sparks thing.
And then we start hearing more of these guttural from all around us.
Oh, that's scary as hell. Sweet. Let's cut to Jaina Madar. You have following the trail that your Imperial squad has left. You've made your way up to where you could rejoin them, but you hear the Thorian bellows. What do you do?
I kind of, sort of again kind of look around to sort of get my bearings, and I guess, yeah, what's the sort of situation in terms of what's close to me besides being able to go and rejoin? What is this is the soldier nearby?
Yeah, maybe you witness that. You're able to look down the hallway. You're still standing in the jungle. I kind of like the idea of that very marked demarcation of like the jungle that all of a sudden hallway, and well, it's green, and you maybe see like the little vines that still grow in that they can't bring themselves to torch, they being the Ithorians. Yeah, you're still at the precipice. You can take a step in, but it is very dangerous for you to do so.
Yeah. I kind of want to find an Ithorian and find out more about what this supposed plan that I'm involved in is. I presume if they if I see someone who's, you know, in command, they're not going to shoot me on sight, I hope.
That makes sense. So then I think you're trying to seek out, right? You're trying to find something well hidden. Feels like to me. Does that feel right to you?
Think so, yeah, because pull strings doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I think I'm trying to seek out.
Yeah, I actually looked at pull strings, but then I was like, this doesn't, like, that move's cool, but it doesn't feel like the right move here. So
that's a 5.
okay.
This is not a cardinal move, so I'm going to mark 2 pressure now that I have it back. I'm going to be the first person to die in this game, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the stats seem to agree with you, but I will be sad.
I've marked 3 of my breaking points already. So, yeah. So it's a 7. Or yeah.
Okay, it's a 7. On a 7, on a hit, you find it. On a 7 to 9, I choose 1. Just go for something. I mean, I've already done you found it. Something stands between you and it. Your investigation takes a long time. I think you find an Ithorian may pull them aside, but you attract unwanted attention. Like Glory sees this. The Ithorian sees you, and they like lower their weapon because they see you, right? They know, and you see the shoulders become less tense, and they pull you aside.
Do I notice that she sees this or no?
I think you notice she sees this.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see how you deal with that. So
yeah. I took some harm in the battle back there. I'm what's next? What are we doing here? And I'm trying pointedly to like talk quietly enough in sort of a way so that she can't see, like make out the conversation, hopefully. Though she definitely sees that I am talking to this Ithorian, I would suspect.
Nice. The Ithorian says, we are nearly ready. The coordinates are in. We need only to repel this last force, and we will be able to escape with Mother Jungle. If you can buy us some time, we will all be free.
I make a pointed sort of like I make a obvious sort of show of seeing Glory over there, and I say, quick, your blaster.
Yeah, the Ithorian hands you the blaster.
Yeah, so I swing around to aim it at Glory and then turn back and kill the Ithorian.
Oh no!
Or at least shoot the Ithorian.
That sounds awesome. Let's see if you can. Is there a move? Cover up. That's what you just did.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
You did.
And can she be in my what is it from Close Ranks? Circle of NPC friends and associates who attribute my it doesn't. How would it get attributed to the affair though? I guess that doesn't make sense.
It's such a cool move,
shit.
but it's just so hard to trigger.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's just a regular cover up then.
Sorry, I really wanted to engage that one, man.
No, that's okay. We'll get there
someday.
All right, and
Gloria assumes that you're having an affair with the Ithorian.
Right. I'm just having affairs with everyone.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
All right, that's 8.
That is an 8. All right, an 8 on cover up is GM chooses their only full temporarily concrete assurance, and it won't be the last you hear of this. So you fire, you kill the Ithorian. What is it that you said to her? I'm sorry, cue it up again. What is it that you say to Gloria when she moves up?
I don't think let's see.
It's okay if you don't say anything. I just want to make sure that I
Yeah, I think I just kind of nod and then move forward with the blaster at low ready again. Like to rejoin with everybody. Oh, sorry.
yeah, and she kind of grabs your arm and says, "Why didn't the Thorian blast you?" And she's asking for some kind of concrete assurance, extra corroboration, or doing something extra to throw her off.
You know that the ISB has our ways. The Ithorians. I love this thing that I did a little bit last time of like dancing so close to the truth, right? The Ithorians think I'm here for as a sleeper agent, but there's no time for. I mean, things that you saw, things went to shit back there. We need to just get this done and go.
She says, "Okay, but just gonna look bad to the wrong people. I've got your back."
Okay, thank you, Glory.
And then you guys turn and rejoin, and you guys saw like your techie was just blasted up, and there's probably a moment, maybe a little bit of gunfire from one of the other Thorians. You cleared that, and you hear from Gloria say, "Look who I found, Rev. Maybe she can get us through."
Yeah, and I think that's Rev looks up, you see the eyes widen, and then you see the same kind of hand gesture, that we saw with Sirius, go in, do your job.
Yeah, I think I because everything I do is manipulation at this point. I kind of move my blaster rifle to make it obvious how injured I am. And then I move forward.
And I think in that case, then Gloria nods. I'm sorry, then Rev nods and steps in with you and is covering you as we're going towards wherever you're leading, because you know where the control panel is, right? And is clearing hallways and shooting down them to make sure they're okay. Probably getting really close to that coaxium.
Not to further complicate this, but I feel like if Jaina shows up that badly injured, Gashia might maybe this is reaching out and sharing the significant fear, like Rev, Jaina's messed up.
Yeah, someone actually cares about you, Jaina. I think that's reaching out. Do it.
Okay. Before both of you are whoa. You're both gonna get yourselves killed. And I think to some degree, maybe I'm actually reaching out more to Rev, because I think she's the more reasonable one at this moment. Okay. Are you going to respond positively to this, or are we just skipping it and Rev's ignoring Tagashia's concern?
Let me look at the results. So
I don't even if you don't respond
there's
positively,
no roll.
I don't even roll.
Okay.
You just ignore me.
So basically, I think that Rev's perspective is we have to get the job done. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. So yeah, responds positively. You express concern about Jaina, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, responds positively, like, yes, we need to take care of that.
Okay. Yeah. Rev, Jaina's not okay. That's a 6. I will mark pressure to push it. Oh no, I can't. It's a reach out.
Okay.
Oh,
I can
snap.
support.
Oh wait, hold on. Cardinal moves.
This would have been a perfect time for me to wait helplessly, but I once again don't have 2 pressures.
You had it just a few moments ago. Let's see.
Pressure is an interesting resource in this game.
It is. It's interesting that you can only spend it on certain things.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I think other people can help, but you can't boost your own roll is the way that the cardinal move works, right?
Yes, yeah. Someone else could support.
Okay, someone can support, but that's pretty costly.
It feels weird though with Rev supporting the role on them, but I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm about to screw you over, so we'll see if that works.
Oh, are you interfering?
No, not
okay.
at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark pressure. So to support, I'm roll plus warm, which is 0. Let's see if I can even do that. I got an 8. Which is hold 1 and be prepared to be entangled in any fallout from the move. Okay, so that gives you your +1 to your 7, right? What does that do for the reach out?
So on a 7 to 9, choose one of you who erases 1 pressure. Either way, increase your relationship with each other by 1.
Okay.
And I think Tagashia is basically volunteering herself to go instead here.
Okay.
Like, whoa, Jane is messed up. You've got a bad arm. Hold on.
And that's what I was going to do. Was Rev was going to say, point Jaina back towards like the medic to get taken care of, towards like maybe Gloria to get taken care of, and then go in with you. Or send you in, do that whole look you in the eye, and then direct you in, and then with the support and interfere where I take, I'm entangled, I go in with you.
And so just for clarity on this thing, those 2 extra check marks are your stem to the eyeballs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're like way past your breaking point.
Oh, and I think I actually, before I go in, I stem again, right? Yeah.
Of course you do. Oh shoot, do I want to mark my own pressure off just to because thematically, like, Rev should be like way overwrought on the whole thing, right?
Oh, and I think we see Rev actually starting to shake, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'll take a breaking point. It'll be great.
Later. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I mark my own pressure off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool as a cucumber as we go in.
Nice.
Do we want to take a break?
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to take a break. So we will take a break here. Okay. And we're back. We'd cut away with you guys at the last door before the hyperdrive engines. We see stuff written in Albic, the Star Wars basic galactic language, warning people. There's even maybe like an Athorian, like, kind of pictograph thing of an Athorian like being glowing or something, because this is the hyperdrive engines. You don't want to come here and make trouble. And after Gloria says, "Hey, look who I've got here," and Tagashia says, "Wait, she's hurt," there's that brief moment, and I think Ensign Livia Topol says, Rev, Lieutenant, Rev, should we really have our blasters here? What if? And she's right. Somebody fires a blaster on hyperdrive engines and they blow, everyone could die.
That's right. But if we return without, if we survive without disabling the hyperdrive engines, we might as well gun up with the ship. So it doesn't matter if we shoot or not.
Wow.
We just have to take them out.
And Gloria nods, and our former sous chef, Ensign Livia Topol, her eyes widen as that is just the most terrifying answer you could have possibly told her. She wants to impress you, but she also wants to survive this. Jaina, sorry, I did the waiter thing of catch you at the bad moment. But so I'll check in with Tagashia. Are you good to go? You still have this like twitchy leg. You've gotten
so Tagashia is definitely not going to be the one to blow open the hyperdrive here, and reaches down, pulls out a vibroblade, and is gonna like try and get around the the edges of the room for this hyperdrive to start this. Like she's just going at it, right?
Mm-hmm. Cool. So you guys open the doors. It opens up, and you hear the low, persistent hum of the engines in here. Like it's not as shielded. There's a lot of sound shielding so that Mother Jungle doesn't sound like anything other than the beautiful jungle. But you've come down a couple of corridors now, and the shielding in this area is off. The hyperdrive engines are spinning up, so you hear that, but they're not spinning off the fire. It's just one of those, like they're in ready mode. And when you guys step in, there are a pair of Athorians who let off their double-throated yell of challenge, and they move forward with this kind of Imperial Guard like shock baton deals, you know. So you hear the crackle of energy as they think, oh, obviously these guys are going to have blaster pistols. They're not that stupid. So they think, oh yeah, we'll just go in, and so these boom, 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 they're big, moving like elephants, really, charging toward you guys. What do you do?
So Rev is going to lay down cover for Tagashia to get to the controls. So I think that she's going to actually fire. She's going to jump out with that little blaster pistol and start shooting back at the Athorians as they approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're engaging in battle.
And that is plus raw. Hey, I've got a 1
is.
in raw. Okay. Well, that's a 10.
Wow. Okay. On a hit, you choose. You overcome a tough target's defenses, destroy a number of weaker targets, hold off a determined assault, or drive away a formidable opponent. Easy for me to say. Keep a target safe during the battle.
Oh, so this would probably be keep a target safe during the battle to get Tagashia to the controls. And I think what we see on screen is we see the two Athorians, or the Athorians, come out with their like those staves, and I start shooting at them, and a bolt goes wild, and you see their little eyes get really big, and they're shocked for a second, and then I lay down covering fire so that we can get to the controls.
Sweet. I am starting a doom clock, friends. That was the first tick on the doom clock. Hyperdrive engines explode. It is a 6-tick doom clock. I will stick it in the moves and rules, row 31, and I'll color code it.
Yeah, so with Rev laying down this this completely dangerous cover fire, Tagashia is gonna like close the distance and maybe even goes like right between them, as they're sort of scattered a little bit, and is going up to like what I imagine is like the engineering console part of this, and we see that like reach behind, grabs the droid interface probe and jams her brain into it, and is going to start the process. I don't think this is like this isn't something easy to do, especially at this point.
Absolutely. I think you should seek out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking through.
Let's have you seek out.
This is when the engage the cyberpunk mode.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars. What is that? -1? Oh,
Crash
yeah,
your
we're great at
board.
this.
No, man, it's my life. Sorry, it's Johnny Mnemonic quotes. It's really inappropriate.
Oh, that's a 6. I will mark pressure for a 7 to 9.
On a hit, you find it. On the 7 to 9, the GM chooses 1. Yeah. Investigation takes a long time, and I'm gonna.
It's finally interesting.
Clock. Oh, yeah. The engines are online, and Tagashia, you've jacked in, but you you need some time. Like there are a bunch of very foreign and alien permutations and formulas and calculations in here. Jaina,
See, I want to say
yes.
something.
Yes.
In order to see the doom clock on screen, I think whenever I first shot, we see like this pipe with like a little vent of blue stuff coming out, and whenever, as Tagashiya is doing the cyberpunk thing, I think to see that advance, we see another like crack and a little
Ooh, a couple
vent come out.
bolts like pop out from the pressure. Ping, ping.
So every time we advance the doom clock, it gets, there's some kind of,
Starting to vibrate and
Yeah.
shake. Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you for making sure that there was that.
Yeah, and
Like,
Tagashiya is like, when she plugs in, her like one of her eyes just goes like bright blue. Like you could tell that she's like in it, and she slumps down against this thing, but she's still got her gun up, or she's still got her knife, right? But she's like in. Yeah.
Sweet. So Jaina, we saw those couple of Athorians that engaged Rev, and I mean, I think we didn't really talk through what happened there, but I think maybe Ensign Livia, she ends up drawing out a little vibro knife and like stabs one of them 3 or 4 times, because she's definitely still not. She's going to fight, but I don't know if she's going to actually shoot a blaster in the middle of the cyberdrive engine. But she's helping as much as she can. Jaina, what's your engagement? What are you doing here?
Well, so they sent me back here to see the medic. And I guess I'm torn, because like I definitely feel like I am the one who is best suited to actually do the thing in the engine room. Maybe since Livia's right here, maybe I can reach out. I mean, we're not especially close, but I think I'd say something to just sort of like, I really, really hope that they can do this. I don't know what's gonna happen, and kind of like place my hand over my wound, and I just wish I would have done better. And I think the audience knows that that's Jaina expressing regret about whatever the sleep agent stuff is, but I expect Livia is just kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I think
yeah.
that.
Go ahead.
Well, I think at this point I'm not fully convinced that I'm gonna make it out of here. Maybe the medic was indisposed for a moment, and so like I'm just kind of like having this like momentary like, oh, I'm actually really, really hurt. I think actually seeing Tagashiya say all that, and Rev and her like moving forward was like, oh, this is actually serious if they're not letting me go in there. But then there's also part of me that's like, I need to go in there to do whatever this thing in my brain is trying to make me do. But yeah, so I think it's reaching out, which I roll plus smooth.
And she needs to react positively. So even though
Okay.
she doesn't understand what you're talking about these regrets, she says, it's going to be okay, Lieutenant Commander. Everything's going to work out. Rev's leading the team. And she wholeheartedly believes it.
For what it's worth, not that we need to retcon that, but for NPCs, you roll first. It's for PCs,
you're
they have to respond
Sorry.
positively.
No, that is a good point. Thank you for that. So let's go ahead and roll.
That's a 6, and I'm gonna let it stand.
All right, 6. You let it stand. She says, "Don't worry. You probably weren't needed." There we go. That's her. She's trying to make you feel better, and says the wrong possible.
I kind of groan in pain. Oh.
You get to increase your relationship with her.
Yeah, and I just That was a cardinal move. So I'm leveling up and I'm going to take a new move.
Oh, well, nice. So that is a thing that happens. She reaches out, and I think what we because I have a hard move due to the miss is that the entire room starts to shake, and the engines are spinning up like they are going to try to go into hyperspace at this point. And that's when, Tagashia, you realize they have hastily input astrogation coordinates that may or may not be accurate. They may be blasting straight through a planet at this point.
I think on screen we see like or maybe Tagashi is like plugged something else in, or like some antenna comes out of her little cyborg thing.
Nice.
And she's realized that whatever this is at this point, it's beyond her abilities and needs Soren's help. So I'm gonna pull strings on Soren as a, I'm in the system, I can't get out, it's locked me in, I'm about to die, like desperate plea for help.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see how it goes. Pull some
The good news is
strings.
playing both sides, when I engage with the dangerous faction, pull strings on a +1 bonus.
For sure,
so,
this counts.
Let's see. Roll plus smooth. So that's 0.
To get a +1 because of the both sides.
Yeah, that my smooth is -1. So
Oh,
rolling flat for the fate of the universe.
Wait.
Here we go.
Are you sure your smooth is -1? It looks like a 0 to me.
Oh, is that? Oh, sharp. Okay, so it is +1. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Here we go. That's a 7. And I think, okay, so let me just double check what that means. On a 7 to 9, they always demand a favor.
GM chooses 2 on pull strings.
Right. So
and you're saying that due to your thing,
but I
they
could
always
push
demand
it to a
favor.
breaking point. I could take right, you can take up to 3 pressure.
Yeah, you can do up to 3.
No, I think the 7 to 9 is more interesting here.
Okay. So I choose 2, and then you're doing the playing both sides, which I want to glance at real quick. Okay, 7 or less. 7 or less. Well, that's weird.
Basically, on a 6-, they always demand a favor in return. So, like, my 6- is I could possibly still get it on a 6-, but it's going to like really cost me.
Okay.
I think that's how I read it.
Yeah, I mean,
if you do it, they'll give you what you want, even on a miss. Yeah, if you do it, they'll yeah.
Okay, cool. But we don't have that situation. So on 7 to 9, the GM chooses 2. You can't do it without help from someone you'd rather not get involved with. Gosh, that's already true because you reached out to Soren. Someone demands a favor in return or else they won't help. You attract unwanted attention. I'm choosing 2. Unexpected cost or consequence. Yeah, he says, all right, we'll get through. But in exchange, and I imagine this is a conversation that happens on like hyper time, right? So he's pausing, but time is dilated, it's slowed. And Soren says, all right, I'll walk you through this. You'll disable that hyperdrive, no problem. In exchange, you will grow closer to Jaina Madar and make sure she's the one who comes out on top in the ISB now that Bolt is dead. Oh, man. that
whatever, Soren, just get me through this.
sweet. And then that's when you're saying this out loud, and Glory overhears it. Like you're talking to Soren. Soren's pulling you through, and it's the whole reason you're pulling this off. And yeah, he feeds you the codes, and you're able to shut down the hyperdrive, take it offline, and you can actually see the little someone's entered the key sequence from not the bridge, but from like a secondary engineering position, like an alternate bridge that they've tried to set up, where they were trying to fire off the hyperdrive engines, and they hit the ignition code just moments before you take it offline, and the hyperdrive engine is completely offline. It starts cooling down, and our doom clock is averted. Rev, sorry, I imagine you've been in combat. What's a cool thing that you do at the last moment to one of the Ithorians that was trying to defend and stop you guys?
So yeah, I imagine this is the, in the background while we see what's going on with Tagashia's negotiation with Soren, we see, the blaster fire going back and forth. Or maybe just going forth. I think the Ithorians, I don't know. Do you think the Ithorians would return blaster fire if I'm firing at them?
Nope.
Okay. So in that case,
they do not want to
we just
damage the
see-
hyperdrive engines. They are throwing their lives trying to save this piece of Mother Jungle. It is a heroic sacrifice.
So I think that we see them rushing, trying to avoid the blaster bolts as I'm firing wildly towards them, and they're rushing. And I think we see right as Tagashia turns off the hyperdrive, they stop and turn, because that was their only hope, right? They were giving up their life in order to get us to jump. And as soon as the hyperdrive turns off, they kind of turn and look, and that's whenever I shoot them.
Nice. Sweet. So the hyperdrive engine powers down. The Ithorians have been, their last stand was a failure. You guys have taken over the ship, and I'd like to spend the last bit of our time kind of pulling out of this. So let's see. What's Jaina? What are you doing now that there are no Ithorians here in the hyperdrive engines? But you could hear radio chatter that some of the Ithorians are starting to surrender.
I mean, this might be a chance for the medic to actually start patching me up. I feel like I have no good ideas today.
Okay.
The move that I just took doesn't make sense to do in here, but I took Alien Affinity. When you get close enough to the enemy that you could reach out and touch them, say what you feel: love, lust, fear, or revulsion. So I wonder if I get up and I just walk back out into the main jungle part.
Sure, or you could find one of the Thorians laying here wounded. They're not fighting. But yeah, if you want to go back to the jungle, that's even more alien and sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I think I actually wonder if can we say that the medic was actually injured? So that I haven't been patched up, and I'm pretty much convinced at this point that I'm probably gonna die, and so I'm walking out in the jungle to do that. And so I'm kind of
actually, if the Ithorians partially got past us in that room,
yeah,
and one of them took out the medic.
Yeah,
the medic was there trying to help you and got taken down before.
Just so I'm clear, did we create a new NPC that was the medic here? I'm sorry.
I think we might have. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it
fine.
all came from Togashiya saying that Jaina needs to get to the medic. So
not objecting to it. I just wanted to. I felt like I missed something, and I just wanted to.
Could
I
we
got it.
could we make it one of the named ones? Like, could Livia be the medic?
Yeah, but then she's dead. That sucks.
she could have just been injured.
That's fine. If we want to kill Olivia,
I don't
we
want to
could-
kill. I don't want to kill Livia.
all right. So
I
she
like
got
the
injured. She got-
part. Yeah.
okay, she got injured. I'm into it. That sounds fun.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like staggering back out into Mother Jungle, and if this is okay, I think I sort of like drop to my knees and then like look up and there's an Ithorian there.
Nice.
And so I think that I feel revulsion, and there's no roll on this. I just get to choose two. The options are: you learn something new about the enemy, ask the GM a question, you're calmed and bolstered, erase pressure until you have exactly 2 boxes marked. This is part of why I took this move, or erase 1 pressure, your choice. The enemy tells you something about yourself, ask the GM what. So I'm definitely going to erase some pressure. And I would like the enemy to tell me something about myself. I'm guessing it's related to some of the stuff that's been happening.
And we hear the two-throated low rumble of the Ithorian speaking to you. And he or she reaches a hand out, those long, kind of bony fingers gently touch your shoulder, and you feel some kind of energy. And we have like a quick cut, and we see the wound close. She says to you, child, tell us that all is not lost. I do not wish to destroy this ship with what you have brought to us. But I will not allow it, Mother Jungle, to be spoiled by the Empire. Please, give me hope that you will help to protect this place.
I don't know what I've done. And I'm sorry.
You are the
can't.
one.
The one, what are you talking about, the one?
Child, you came to us offering yourself.
No.
Yes.
No. No.
You should leave this ship. If you cannot guarantee Mother Jungle will not be spoiled, then I must use the weapon to destroy the ship.
No. And Jaina is like desperately searching their memory for anything that she can use to assure that the ship will not be lost, the ship will not be despoiled. I don't know if I'm possibly trying to cover up, or if this is just, maybe I just come up empty. Memories aren't there. I really don't know what I've done.
I feel like I'd like to have the dice help us decide this moment. So
Mhm.
it feels like cover up is the closest to
Okay.
an appropriate move. So let's engage.
Or I guess maybe shake off a threat, but I'm better
Ooh,
at cover up.
I feel like cover up is that's an interesting suggestion, but I think cover up will go with that.
Okay. That's a 13. So on a 10 plus, they buy your deception.
Yep.
It's not exactly, well, it's a deception in that I'm deceiving myself as well.
She
Don't worry.
nods.
You won't lose your ship. You don't need to use the weapon.
Very well. She seems relieved. And then you hear the footfalls, like boots, marching quickly, Jaina. And when you look up, there are a few stormtroopers who've arrived. And when you look back, the Ithorian, she's gone.
Hmm.
And one of the stormtroopers says,
Lieutenant Commander, are you all right? You look injured.
and I just see the blood, but
Oh.
there's no wound.
No, I stand up kind of full height. No, I'm fine. I need to get back to the, I keep forgetting the name of the main ship.
Pandora.
Yeah, I need to get back to Pandora immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
And they will quickly move to escort you back to the Lambda class shuttle they used to get on board. Let's cut to Rev. Looks like the hyperdrive engine's offline.
I think Rev, nods at Tagashia and then turns to follow the rest of the squad because we're out of fire here. Turns to find the rest of the people. Sees Gloria, passes her in the hallway, sees Livia there, has been wounded, is down,
Yeah.
and bends over and kind of pulls her back up. She's still alive. And, Rev, probably pulls like a Bacta spray out and like tries to spray Livia and kind of get her to come to. And I think whenever she awakens, I'm going to reach out to Livia,
Hmm.
and I'm going to say, we both know whenever Livia is the cook, right?
Yep.
Okay. We both know whenever we signed up to oppose the rebels and join the fight for the Empire, that we signed over our lives that day. But it sounds like that contract's not coming due today. We'll both make it out of here, soldier.
And we see this mix of grateful and also adoration in her eyes. Like, now not only are you a badass, you're a badass who helped save her life.
And let's see what that looks like. That's
Just
Oh,
remind
that's
you, you can't erase pressure because you've reached a breaking point at this point.
That's true.
me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do this actually to erase pressure, so I think I'm fine with that. I expect that as soon as the battle's over, I'll reach a breaking point and pop off. Yeah. Reach out is
Isn't it warm?
warm. And I have 0, so it should be a flat roll. So that's a 7. And for PCs or for NPCs,
Roll first. On a hit, they respond positively. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
I think that's right. I think that's exactly what happened.
cool. I like that.
Yep.
And I guess increase your relationship with her.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
And yeah, I think the thing I described of her idolizing you, just more of that.
But because it's a 7 and 9, if you don't mind, let's say that she's a little bit scared by the fact that maybe she didn't realize she had signed her life over the way that Rev thinks she did.
Oh yeah, that
So we see
sounds
some
great.
fear from that. Yeah.
I love that. Yes, she's definitely happy that you're here, but also very troubled by what you've just matter of factly revealed is the absolute truth to her. Lieutenant, I'm not sure I'm capable of doing what you do.
Well, buck up, and I think I think I give her a stem. I hit her with a stem to kind of wake her up a little bit and say, "Buck up, it'll be great." There's only two ways: move up or die. So I don't want you to die. So we're gonna succeed here.
And she nods. Gains just a little bit of encouragement from the stem. Maybe that's the kind of feeling she needs in this moment. Rev. Sorry, not Rev. Why did I say Rev? Tagashia. That's what I meant.
So yeah, I think Tagashi is like coming out of this cyberpunk virtual world. Sees Rev like nod. Her eye goes back to normal, disconnects, is a little discombobulated, and kind of it's just now coming to her what all she just agreed to. And she starts like going around the engineering bay looking for like a data pad or something. And when she finds one, she starts writing up a commendation for Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar for valiant action under fire. And is like downloading off of her like, I imagine that she's kind of always recording with the Lobot thing.
Nice.
And like a video of Jaina like flying back from the thermal detonator, and then like how she valiantly returned to action despite her wounds. And I imagine in some way this is a cover-up, because Tagashi is eliding parts and is sort of making things look better for Jaina
Absolutely.
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Okay. Do plus smooth. Okay. Which is flat for me. And I do have. So I have compromised. I don't know, because the compromise thing has to do with killing the moth, and that's really hard to tie that one in.
I know, but I really want. It's so weird.
In addition, at the start of if you're currently trying to throw some. Oh, geez, I have a start of session move, y'all. If you're
that's true.
6. Okay, so in addition,
I actually wrote a note, compromise tag, and I was like, I got to remember to tell them, and then I forgot when we got.
Yeah. Okay. If you're not currently in the middle of throwing someone off the scent, pull plus hit. You're offering an opportunity that nobody ever give you. Okay. Interesting. We'll come back to that. So I think in some way getting Jaina upgraded is going to help me. Is going to help cover up. Is that justify the +1?
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. Gives a good complication if I roll terribly, which I probably will. Here we go. That's a 10. Darn, I was really hoping to get some pressure off of that. Okay. So I write a really glowing whatever the the silver or bronze star is in the Imperial Navy, Jaina Madar went above and beyond in the face of enemy action. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I like it.
And I think just to tie it into a scene here, I think I mean, who is it that like is like, who's the commander who like now joins the ship, right? Now that like now it's secured and the soldiers have done the work. Now that the suit shows up, who is it that I'm handing this data pad over to?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh man, who do we want to come out on top with this new resource, the Ithorian ship?
Oh, is it Kag?
I think so. It feels like she's not going to end up being the captain on this.
Okay.
She'll put someone.
But she was the one like commanding the operation.
Yep,
right?
she was commanding the
I think that
operation.
makes-
So she's
yeah.
the one. Yeah, that makes the most sense. And I think she's going to put Rella Soul in charge of it. I think that sounds fun.
Lieutenant Commander Carell, so glad I found you. I want to recommend Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar for what was it? It was the Emperor's Fist or whatever. That's what Rev got and they got taken
I was
away?
doing a quick bit of research. What about the
okay.
Nova Star?
Yes,
The Nova
there we
Star
go.
Medal of the Empire. I'll drop in a link to it. It looks fun.
For the Nova Star, Jaina took a thermal detonator and then returned to battle. Were it not for her actions, none of us would have survived. Which is definitely blowing it out. Probably to the point where Rev is going to call me on it. But yeah.
Cool. I want to see how that goes. Cover up and cover well.
Oh, I was just trying to
Oh.
tie
Okay.
that into my previous role. If that works.
Yeah.
Let's cover
Sorry.
up
You're right.
twice.
You
Okay.
know, it's
No,
good.
okay.
It's good. No. I'm sorry. My blank. I was doing the Nova Star thing in my blank that we'd already rolled. So yes, 10. They buy it. The CAG says, interesting. I was not surprised at that, but you were part of the group that took over the hyperdrive. Thank you for this information, recruit. I think this will go well for you. What would you like to be a corporal, Tagashia?
And I think we're like, just because, condensing sets, we're like near where that mine exploded at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And there's like damage and like dead bodies still around. And it's just like, because of course I'm going to become corporal because all the recruits are dead. So it would be an honor, Kag.
Cool. And you and Gloria Gillis are both promoted to corporal, and that is lovely. So I feel like I'd like to kind of draw back a little bit and kind of go to medal awarding ceremony as yep. I'm sorry, Jex, did you have a thing?
Oh no, I have an idea that I think could be cool, of intercutting between the medal awarding ceremony and whatever it was to ensure that the Itharians don't actually lose this ship.
Yeah. I like that, because like I love the idea of an Ithorian herd ships as part of this fleet. So I'm pulling strings of my own, if that's okay with you guys. Like it's an audience.
Not to add a third thing to the montage, but is this also where we see Rev, reaching a breaking point?
Yeah, I was going to say I've got a breaking point on that.
Cool. All right. So a little bit of story time, right? So we have three things going on. We have medal ceremony. Jaina Madar successfully cutting a deal for the Ithorian herd ship to not be spoiled. The mother jungle will not be despoiled. And Rev doing something for a breaking point.
Mine fits up for my breaking point. Mine fits a little bit better if we do this before the medal ceremony. So
Okay.
do you mind if we do that first?
Absolutely. That sounds great.
So I think Lieutenant Commander Carol, the CAG, probably comes in over the comms. And, I'm helping Livia get to her feet and says, Lieutenant Rev, report. And, you should have been here by now, kind of reprimanding a little bit. And Rev turns on the comms and says, you have no idea what it's like. You weren't down here. We lost people. You should have been leading from the front, and mouths off. And that is, I think that breaking point is lash out at someone who matters to you, tell them what you hate about them, blame them for your problems, or otherwise push them away.
And just so I'm clear, this was to whom did she do this?
To the CAG. To the CAG.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, to the superior officer, basically telling them, you should have been here. You know.
Wow. That is a bad thing. I love it.
Oh, and because it's over the comms, who knows who heard?
I think we see Rev getting locked up.
Ooh.
That's-
And I have another breaking point, which is overdose. I think Rev getting locked up, she's actually experiencing withdrawal. So she's like sweating and shaking there in the brig.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, dang it, Rev. That's like hard move on top of hard move. That's the snowball. That's great. I mean,
That scene
it's not great
in the medal award scene. Yeah.
That's good. Cool. Let's cut to the medal award scene. We actually have hold on, see if I can show the picture real quick. I found a cool pic, just like the picture inspiration here. So it's of course these are not our characters, but I thought this was neat. There's some other people who are awarded, and then in front of all of them getting the Nova Star is Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar. And there's a little bit of footage that's shown over a hollow thing, and it's the touched up footage that Tagashia had shown, and the CAG reads off like an expurgated version of the report that Tagashia gave, and then she reads another person's report, and it's also glowing, and it talks about Jaina Madar's heroism during the assault on the Athorian herd ship. And you recognize Tagashia, like that's the stuff you said. So someone else is also reporting this information. And then you're rewarded the Nova Star, which if you looked at it's a nice like green ribbon. There's this like star. It's the Imperial symbol in the middle of this medal, and it's placed around your neck, Jaina Madar, who in Athorian said you were the chosen one who submitted yourself to be a rebel, some kind of something, who knows? Yeah, so what do we see? What's your expression when you receive this high honor?
I just kind of like emotionless almost. And after the medal is put on me and the person kind of steps away, I salute and just say, "Long live the Empire."
Nice. And there's a third thing. Oh, what was the deal that Jaina cut? Like,
well,
how do we see that going? Oh,
yeah, I wasn't necessarily thinking of a deal. I was thinking of something more kind of more subterfuge, because I think we still haven't seen the full fallout from my sleeper agent move, right?
Mm-hmm. So just so we're clear, the fallout, the Ithorian female you were talking to was referring to a bomb that you had provided them.
Oh,
they
I did
could
not
just
understand. I did
explode.
not catch
Sorry.
that. Okay.
That was it. The fallout
Okay.
was that you had provided them with
The
basically a
weapon.
tactical nuke that
Okay.
they could use
Okay.
to take out the ship and
Gotcha.
all the Imperials and save Mother
Yeah.
Jungle from being despoiled.
Okay,
Sorry,
so then it is then it is sort of working out a deal of letting the Ithorians keep their ship if they join the fleet. There will be some Imperials posted on the ship
Mhm.
just to kind of keep everything in line. But basically saying, you're still independent. You're just part of this fleet. You're not. I mean, I don't think anyone would spin it as you're not joining the Empire, because you couldn't get away with saying that. But like doing as much as possible to make it clear that they still have independence, yet they're going to be. We're basically creating an occupied force, right? Like there's
Love
going to be
it.
an occupation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But they're allowed to tend to Mother Jungle and with patience and time.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Right.
course,
I
is what
think
they'll
it's
tell
the
themselves.
Imperials aren't taking over the ship insofar as like they're not taking command of it. But it's an occupation now. So I mean, they're that command is still actually there, just not, that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense, and I love it. That is great. So
I have two things I'd love to hit before the end of session.
okay, let's hit one.
So I think with we're at this awards ceremony, right? And we're all like rank and file. We all get our new pins or whatever on our uniforms, and then very subtly the camera goes to Takashia's arm and reaches out and touches Glory. And there's a moment where like they're both facing forward, and Takashiya says, "You should wear that red dress again tonight." Nice. And then the other thing is, if Rev is in the brig, I think we still need to see the fall of Obak Vander II taking the hit for Bolt's death.
Yeah, I think that Rev, you're in there. You're going through all of the ramifications. Yeah.
So I think during the part of that ceremony, the award ceremony, we see Livia, right? And Livia gets like a medal or a pin or a ribbon or something.
Oh, nice.
And there's like an empty spot where Rev would have been, right? Like a gap in the ranks a little bit. And Rev is going through withdrawal. And at some point, I'd like for Livia to come down and slip me a stem.
Nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. And we have another thing for Takashiya. Let's earmark that. But I think we see Rev going through withdrawal, and then a squad of stormtroopers lead in Obak Vandar II and bring him into the cell right next to yours. Now, if we think of Imperial cells, there isn't like a next door type thing. If you remember, there's like that entryway and then kind of steps down, and it's this huge, there's just a door. But maybe you see the stormtroopers go by and you see Obak Vandar II's face in profile as he's being led away, and he is not in his officer's uniform.
Let's actually say that that's when Livia's come down.
Yeah.
And so the door's open whenever.
Yeah. Perfect. And you see that Livia received a commendation as well, and she's wearing lieutenant's bars when she comes to see you. I brought some food for you, Rev. Got a little tray, and you see there's a little stem thing that's like right by the bowl.
I think I'm just dripping with sweat, and I'm like very weak, and I kind of look up and I see, my eyes are drawn to that stem. And I think I kind of scramble across, knock some of the food away. It spills a little bit and then hit the stem just right away.
You need to eat.
And I think I start to breathe a little bit better, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah.
Kek says she just wants you to cool your heels for a bit. We'll need you soon.
I'm here to serve the Empire. You know that.
I do. Is there anything else you need?
No, I think I'm here for the Empire. I'll serve, be it in this room or be it in the skies. And I think I wince a little bit. I think they've fixed my arm. They've worked on my arm, but I wince a little bit and I kind of work through it. I'm like, it'll get better or it won't.
It'll get better. You're strong. We've
And I think
reached...
I think I clasp her hand and I say, thank you. Yes.
I'll bring you food from time to time when I'm able.
Don't get in trouble on my account. I appreciate it though.
And she meets your eyes, and there's concern there. We've reached the galactic barrier. I think the Admiral wants to take us through. And just to peel back, the galactic barrier is a bramble of hyperspace anomalies along the galaxy's western edge that has prevented for millennia exploration of what's called the unknown regions. No one knows how to get through this. Yes, also it's where the Chiss are from. So Tagashia, important. So you had a second thing for Tagashia before we...
Oh no, the second thing was Obak Bender. I just wanted to make sure that we...
Oh
got the
yeah.
payoff
Thank you.
of,
Thank you for the
them
reminder.
getting into the brig. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to kill him off screen. That is he has been arrested for murder because there is very good planted evidence. And yeah, I think that's good. What about Jaina? Do you have any tag scenes at the end for Jaina?
Is there something that she could be doing, or I don't know, is it like widespread knowledge the Bolt is dead? I mean, I'm interested in maybe kind of seeing her receive that knowledge. I mean, she knew it was coming, or hoped it was coming, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You get back from that's a great point. Maybe you get back, you're in officers' court, or like an officers mess hall kind of lounge, officers lounge. That's the word I was looking for. And it's very buttoned up. It's there are zero frills, but yeah, you hear the scuttlebutt that Bolt was found murdered, and from the other Imperial Security Bureau members, they say that Commander Vandar II from the Research Bureau had always had it out for Bolt. And it looks like he lost himself to passion, murdered him in cold blood.
Jaina adjusts her collar and walks out.
And the camera kind of remains on those, and they say, "Do you think she's next? Next in line?" Says, No, she's got skeletons in her closet. No way. Anyone have anything, or shall we bring the session to a close here? Saw a finger up. Is that you have a thing?
That was a thumb. I'm good.
It was a finger. I just guessed the wrong one. Awesome.
I mean,
Okay.
I would love to see a little tag scene with Jaina in Bolt's quarters, but
Yeah.
maybe that's
There's
next.
part of me that's like, I want to throw you into that command you're unsuited for. There's a part of me that wants to make Tagashiya have to collaborate with you to supplant some other very good, worthwhile candidate for it. So I think I'm going to have you pitted against
Cliffhanger. That's
Shobus. I think Lieutenant Commander Emily Shobus thinks she's put her name in for the hat. Put her name in the hat. She's angling to take over the ISB. So yeah, and she's got dirt on Jaina, but it's been pointed at Akma. So that's a thing that hasn't come to fruition yet. Cool. All right, with that, we will bring our session to a close. Don't have any end of session moves, so we'll just jump straight to feedback. Let's start with some wishes so we can end with stars. Wish, I hope Sawyer's able to join us next week. Cool, there we go. I held a star in reserve last week and forgot it. So I just wanted to say that one wish. Who'd like to go first with expressing some wishes?
I can go first. Same. I hope Sawyer can join us. And then I do wish, now that I've realized that it's a thing, I have a start of session move. So I think that we'll tie it in back to the whole cloning thing. Yeah, and is there any like big thing about hitting a max relationship? Because Rev and I have hit max relation, or at least I have hit max relationship with Rev.
I don't know of a max relationship move.
Okay.
It just means you're real good at doing stuff together.
Okay. Yeah, I want to.
It's not like HX where you get XP.
I
and
want to.
reroll.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think I want to see like either Tagashiya try to like get Rev out, or yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to see where this goes next, because we are creating a tangled web. And I would love for Tagashiya through Glory to discover some of the information, because Glory's got a lot of dirt on a lot of people. So I'm interested in that too.
You saved her life, man.
Twice now.
Yeah, she kind of thinks she owes you. All right, that's great. Thank you, Greg. Who's next?
I hope that Rev and Jaina get a scene. That still didn't really happen this time, which is okay. Like this partially that was on me for always going away from.
I thought for sure it would be but it didn't happen. You're right.
Yeah, I just every chance I got, I moved in the other direction. Obviously I want to play to find out what happens, but I also, my mind is just like swimming with ideas for what would happen if Jaina gets some kind of leadership role, down to like which moves I want to take. So we'll see what happens. But that's a thing that's exciting to think about.
That is. I'm glad you're excited.
No other big wishes, I don't think. Yeah.
Okay. Steven, do you have any wishes?
I'm struggling to think of any specifically about this game. Right now, my only wish is to figure out a good move that would fit in with the character and the sessions that we have coming up. So that's kind of what I'm looking through. Yeah.
Cool. And we have 3 more sessions left, with the last one happening on my birthday. So yay. I just now realized. But yes. Sweet. You went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars, Steven.
So this session was great. It was amazing. And I know that I took a couple of notes and was thinking this is a great star. Oh, 1 star is to you whenever you revealed to Jaina she was the spy who had already met with the Ithorians, because I was like, oh my god, that is so amazing. Because
Yay!
that's so much better than anything I would have thought of. And the way that Jaina played into all of that was fantastic, with the promising the Ithorians and all of that. And to a certain extent, I see the Ithorians now as being under Imperial subjugation. So I guess stars to all of us for being horrible. And I really appreciated and liked how Togashiya reached out to Soren.
That was such a
And
great choice, Greg.
So
Just,
unexpected. I was like, wow, that is great. Yeah. Because I was thinking you'd need one of us to help you out or something like that. Whenever you reached out to them, I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Very good.
That was awesome. Cool. Jax, what about you?
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I felt a little brain foggy, but everything turned out really great. And I appreciate Stephen kind of picking up on that brain fog a little bit and being like, hey, do you want an idea? And it was a great idea. So I appreciate that a lot. And just all of the stuff with Rev hitting that breaking point was so good. And ending up in the brig, like I loved all of that. Just such good drama. Togashiya, yelling at was it Livia?
It was Glory. It was Glory.
It was Glory. Yeah. Was great. I mean, it was just this like, I feel like every time I see how far Togashiya is willing to go, it then gets pushed a little bit further, and that's great. Yeah, and Rich, I love the hard framing at the beginning of this. I love when we're kind of explicitly playing something that's more episodic, where you can do stuff like that. You can have like cold opens and like last time you had that tag at the end. I love that stuff. It's so much fun, and it gives players such great stuff to work on, and then also or work off of, and then also has like that sometimes that kind of dramatic irony thing going through, which is for me a lot of fun as a player. And you don't get to do that when GMs keep things secret or have all these things happen off screen, so like I really appreciated that. I also wanted to point out something that I feel like I just picked up as a useful GM technique from you. You were having conversation between two NPCs and you looked this way and then you looked this way, and I was like, oh, maybe that's how you do it with it feeling a little less awkward. So that was great.
Thank you. Dog is barking in the background, so I'm muting myself. Greg, did you have any stars?
Yes. Oh, so many stars. I felt like this is the session where we really saw Rev start to unravel. We've been building to that, and it was just like Rev like scrambling for the stim at the end, stimming Liv because she's down, like pushing so hard in the combat. That was so nice, just amazing. And then Jaina, the scene with the Ithorian, like no, like you came to us, that you chose this, you're supposed to, oh gosh. Like, and I was having like flashbacks to like the thing with like the Twi'lek in silhouette thing, like you chose this, don't you remember? That was just so good. And then I had a star for the system that I don't remember off the top of my head. Shoot, if I remember it, I'll mention it. But wow, yeah, I'm looking forward to this next session. I'm hoping that Sawyer can join us and make this even crazier. It was so much fun. Oh, and Rich, thank you for giving me an IG droid to destroy. That means I've killed an IG droid and I've killed Dengar, and I've only got a few more left.
A few more on your
Rogues Gallery
gallery
of Bounty Hunters. Soon, Greg will have taken out the entire line. It'll be great.
All your action figures, you just put them in the trash. Sweet. I think star to everyone here. I think there were a couple moments where we angled for moves more effectively that I was really impressed by and really happy with. talked about our wishes at the outset, and other than, oh yeah, there's the start of session move, which I also during my brief amount of prep actually wrote down and was ready with a with
I
a
missed it for every
compromise thing.
session. That's on me.
It's not just on you, it's on me, because I'd said I'm gonna, and I knew, and then it just slipped around. I was so excited with the herd ship. Started Greg for recognizing you're on an Athorian herd ship. I thought I'm gonna do this cold open and have like a little bit of mystery here. And Greg's like, boom. Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah, it always is. So stars to all of you. This was really fun. I'm glad that everything came off in very weird and awkward ways, and the idea of Jaina possibly taking over the ISB in next session is super exciting to me as well. But you got to fight for it in Last Fleet, so that's what we are gonna do. Thank you for reaching out to Soren. It's already called out, but I just want to double, like, Greg, that was so good, really, really fun. Awesome.
It was the move I couldn't lose on.
Exactly. And thanks for letting me do my like force bullshit with the Athorian woman and the mother jungle stuff. Like Jax, you rephrasing, like, I'm gonna run out to the jungle, like, oh god, yes, I totally know what is gonna happen here. Oh, that was super fun. Awesome. I had a great time. I can't wait till next week and continuing our last Imperial fleet. Thank you all.